Yo, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Persona of Gaming with Persona, host of When Persona Speaks, host of When Persona Interviews, and one half of the host of What's Up PlayStation Podcast every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And shout out to everybody here, man. Shout out to the early birds, man. You know we gotta give y'all a round of applause. Round of applause for the people in the chat. And yo, listen, man. This is a very special impromptu episode. So I know I had an interview scheduled yesterday with J-Man. Unfortunately, he had to cancel. And so I felt bad because I didn't do anything yesterday content-wise. And so I was like, yo, man, I want to do something dope for you guys this week, especially if I could do it today or this week. I wanted to. And I was thinking. And I know, people are very passionate about the whole PlayStation stuff of what's going on with the whole Jim Ryan Lion stuff, this whole Microsoft buying Bethesda and how this could affect PlayStation. Like, emotions are high, rightfully so, because, listen, it's PlayStation. We all love PlayStation. We want PlayStation to continue to compete and be on top of things like that. So I was like, yo, what could I do? What could Uncle Persona do for the PlayStation Nation? And I said, look, hold up. My boy JackMove. He is a Sony guy out here, PlayStation fan, hardcore PlayStation fan. He out here, he plays the games, and he is very vocal. He did his Are We Live, bruh, which was very, very passionate. He spoke on the Jim Ryan stuff, and I'm like, yo, man, I think Jack would be the perfect fit for a nice little impromptu show where we talk about it, man, and kind of go deeper into it, right? So, I got Jack with me today, man. Yo, Jack, man, please say what's up to the people.
What's good? What's popping with y'all? Well, hey, Persona, don't feel too bad, man. I'm used to covering up for Jay, man. You know what I mean? He don't come through. You know what I mean? So this is nothing new to me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
good, yo?
Shout out to J-Man, though, man. Big shout out to J-Man. We definitely going to reschedule.
That's my boy right there. That's my boy.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right, so let's jump straight into it, man. Because all right, so we're gonna start this week and then we're gonna work our way backwards. Okay. PlayStation, you were very vocal this week about PlayStation and how they need to do something about these games because it looks like Microsoft is about to gobble up these third-party studios. We saw that Microsoft bought Bethesda, which is a power move, and I think you and I both can respect the move. Is it fair to say that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So we respect the move and things like that, but the way you're looking at it is PlayStation is too complacent and PlayStation is too quiet or too slow to really reacting to this news. Is that fair to say?
I wouldn't say. What I would say is I don't know what I want. You know what I mean? I know what I want, but I don't know what I think they should do. What I feel is they're being too. I guess complacent would be the right word, but this is the thing, though. I think a lot of people feel like I want them to just, run out and like throw a bid and take two or something. I don't want them to be, I guess you would say, reactionary, but I would. You know what I want? I want more transparency. I want the truth, and I want them to actually bolster meaningful relationship with third-party developers, like I thought they were doing with Bethesda. But as we see now, that's not the case at all. You know what I mean? So yeah. I just want the truth, bro. That's the type of time I'm on right now. You know what I mean?
So do you think that with the whole Bethesda move, right, and them buying those third-party exclusive deals or whatever, you think PlayStation knew about? Like, I don't think that PlayStation knew about what Bethesda was doing in the back end, because I don't think PlayStation would have made those deals had they known this was coming. You think so?
I agree with that. They definitely did know.
I think PlayStation got played. PlayStation definitely got played. My whole thing is, I'm seeing a lot of folks in the community, like they wanting, and not you, but I'm seeing a lot of quote unquote PlayStation fans out here saying that PlayStation needs to buy a studio, PlayStation needs to do, and I'm like, that's not how business works. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. when it comes to PlayStation and how they should react. How should they react to this? Because honestly, no one knew this was coming. This was a surprise to all of us this week. So how is PlayStation supposed to react to this? Like, what do you think PlayStation needs to do moving forward I don't want to say counteract this move because there is no counteracting this, but what does PlayStation do to solidify their place in the industry as being the big dog when it comes to Microsoft buying up entire publishing, companies? What can they do?
You know what I will say about this though, and I felt like they should have been doing this for a while now, and I think it's a cheaper alternative, but it also is a counterpunch, a countermeasure to this. Like I said, sometimes you don't have to go out and buy everything, but sometimes locking something up is a benefit. You know what I mean? There is a lot of way smaller double A indie developers, and these are not big money making devs. Or I don't think they got the capital to even turn down or would want to turn down if PlayStation approached them. A perfect example would be Ready at Dawn Studios. There's no reason that Oculus Gaming should own Ready at Dawn Studios right now. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of smaller devs that have a decent output as far as their games, and all their games are very good to decent. You know what I mean? So it's like I just feel they should bolster their first party studios, but it does not have to be on the caliber of a Ubisoft or EA. They don't have to buy no shit like that. You know what I mean? But a lot of these small, like Image Inform is a developer I could bring up. They make great fucking games. I can see some shit like, or fucking Housemarque. There's no reason PlayStation does not own Housemarque right now. And even though I know the thing where they work exclusively with them, they got a tight knit relationship. But hey, Ready at Dawn was making straight PlayStation games at one point. Facebook owned them though, you know what I mean? So it's something to that, I feel.
I mean, I think when it comes to what PlayStation should own, like, Blue Point, Housemarque, I agree.
Yes,
Sumo Digital.
Yes.
Ready at Dawn, I do agree, especially after doing the order. I'm not sure how they ended up in Oculus's hands in terms of that company. Like, that's definitely an L for PlayStation. Those 4 studios, I do think that PlayStation should own. But I think when we're looking at PlayStation and how PlayStation operates when it comes to their first party, because one thing you said yesterday when we were talking on Twitter, when you named Halo, Gears, and Forza, and then you said, what was it, Horizon, Spider-Man Horizon, and I forgot the last game.
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't understand it too, but yeah, we're going to get to that.
Yeah,
I said Spider-Man Horizon and God of War.
God of War, right? God of War, okay. Yeah. Like you were trying, when you named those games and you were saying that people were, people are, and I said the two doesn't compare. And then you said, a lot of people are using that as an excuse. The exclusives, you didn't say the exclusives aren't enough, but you were saying that PlayStation needs to compete at a higher level because looking around, if they stay complacent, then it can turn into what it is, where everything else is getting gobbled up and they only left with their exclusives. Pretty much. What I'm saying to that is, when you look at PlayStation and how their studios are set up, there's like 2 teams per studio that work on 2 different games. And in Insomniac's case, that's 4 teams. So realistically, that 13 really is like 18, really, when you really look at it. Not saying they still shouldn't, continue to acquire studios and stuff like that. But I wouldn't want PlayStation to acquire, go out and acquire Rockstar, Take-Two, Activision, or something, or, Ubisoft or some bullshit like that. Spend 10 billion, 20 billion, however much, acquire this, and it puts them in the red. You understand? I feel like the acquisitions that they need to make need to be strategic and fall in line with the vision of PlayStation and how they are as a business and as a unit. Could you agree there?
I fully agree with that.
So then, when it comes to this acquisition, why do you think that everyone is panicking?
I wouldn't even say it's panicking. It's just,
I would say it's not you, but I'm seeing PlayStation dudes out here panicking.
Okay, I can understand, but the thing is, bro, like, it's from where I'm looking and how it is. This is how it is, right? Okay, Microsoft. Let's call it what it is. Microsoft. They don't really care about systems. They care about Game Pass, right? And one way a subscription service like that only works if you have first party content. Eventually, you're just gonna have to. When Netflix first started out, it was a whole bunch of licensed shit. You know what I mean? A lot of that shit leaves the service. But now, if you look at Netflix, it's full of first party shit. and it's at a constant output. Okay, Microsoft went from having like 7 or 8 studios a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? First party. Now they got 23 studios. You know what I mean? They got 10 more studios than PlayStation. And we was shitting on them what a couple of weeks ago. If we being honest, we was shitting on them studio wise. Now they got 23. And the thing is, it don't even at this point the way gaming is and the way people consume content. Really, if we being real, it's not about quality. It's just not. You know what I mean? PlayStation is always, in my opinion, PlayStation is always gonna have the better games than them and Nintendo. But it doesn't matter at this point. It's all about optics. If I'm looking at Xbox and their output is they've given us, fucking 5-6 exclusive games a year at $1 fucking a month or whatever they're gonna do introductory price. And then I'm looking at PlayStation. They giving us better games, granted, but it might only be 2 games or 3 games. You know what I mean? And Xbox might be doing more. You know what I mean? So the output, PlayStation is not gonna be able to match up optically. It's gonna look bad, and value-wise, it definitely look bad. And then I want to talk about this Bethesda shit a little bit later if you want to, but Microsoft acquiring Bethesda, like the amount of IPs and studios they got, they really purchased leverage with that. They're positioning themselves. They're going to be what I said they were. They're a glorified third-party dev because now with those IPs, a lot of those have a lot of they had a lot of fanfare on PlayStation, so they can leverage that in so many ways with PlayStation to where they can talk PlayStation off their square with this shit, right? They can say, "Hey, you want all these games going forward on PS? You got to put Game Pass on your system. You don't want to do that? Okay, you got to pay $70 while they on our shit for $1. Oh, you don't want to do what we say? Okay, they'll be 6 months later, a year later. Oh, you don't want to do that? We'll give them to everybody else except you. You know what I mean? So it's so many ways they could go with this to fuck over PlayStation. You know what I mean? Business wise, that's why I think people are seeing this. They're gonna pull all them fucking games off PS Now, making PS Now less valuable because you're paying the same price for less games.
You mean Game Pass? You mean?
No, they're gonna pull them games off PS Now.
Oh, pull the games off PS. Oh, pull them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna pull them off PS Now, making PS Now less valuable because you're paying the same price for less games. They're gonna put them on Game Pass, making it more valuable. So optically, this shit is a fucking nightmare for PlayStation, right? And then we're gonna go through all of it, but ever since Jim Ryan got in charge, there's been 2 PlayStation events that's been positive, and that was the Future Gaming Show and the last one we just had. Straight positive imagery and news. Other than that, it's been either negative or it's confusing. They don't tell us nothing, or they just don't say anything. And on the Xbox side, it's really been, even though they haven't displayed any ability to make a great game, it's been pure positive news. You see what I'm saying?
I mean,
it's crazy, bro.
Okay, so let's unpack that. So in terms of the optics of it, you make a good point where it's like, PlayStation, these games not being available on PlayStation is definitely can be a bad thing for people that play these games, right? When it comes to the ecosystem of PlayStation, and this is just hypotheticals. This might not be the case. Whatever, we'll have to wait and see. But when you look at the ecosystem of PlayStation and the amount of people that are going to be buying a PlayStation and buying into the PlayStation, a part of me can't see Microsoft saying, "Let's pull this from here because we just only want it here," because it makes them a liar in a lot of sense here. Because, and granted, we'll talk about the whole Jim Ryan lying stuff, but Xbox been lying to these people, been lying to people for years, and they continue to lie all this year, right?
Of course.
And even with this acquisition, it further solidifies that they still continue to lie to people, but people keep buying into it. But PlayStation mess up 1-2 times, and people all of a sudden talking about boycott PlayStation. Cut the bullshit. Anyway. When it comes to Microsoft and them saying that they want their games to be accessible everywhere and it doesn't matter where you play, that immediately goes against what they said that they were trying to push, that message when it comes to acquiring Bethesda and pulling everything off of all other platforms. That makes no sense. Now, they could potentially do that, yes, and I'm pretty sure when it comes to certain games to gain that leverage, they will. But I don't think Microsoft is going to ignore the ecosystem and the player base that PlayStation has and will continue to grow going into next gen. Give
I
me your.
disagree. You know why I disagree with
Go
that?
ahead.
Because check this out, right? Um, and I was on the same wavelength with you with that Play Anywhere shit, and
Mm-hmm.
and technically they are lying, but this is what they should say because this is what they mean: Play Anywhere except PlayStation. That's what the
Mm.
fuck. Okay, let's run it back. It's proof everywhere, bro. Cuphead, perfect
Mm.
example.
Yeah.
Cuphead came out 2017 on PC and Xbox. I bought it on PC,
Mm-hmm.
beat it, played it on PlayStation. It was on. They put it on PC, could play anywhere. They brought it to the Switch, was caught everybody off guard. Oh
Mm-hmm.
shit, on the Switch, bro. They bought it to Tesla cars. It came to Tesla cars before play. It took us 3 years, 3 calendar years to get that fucking game,
Yeah.
and that's not even an IP that they own, right? But they
Yeah.
do got a lot of they got a lot of leverage with that IP in Studio MDHR.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Ori. Ori is on everything except PlayStation. It's a few other games, a few other smaller indie titles. I'm
Mm-hmm.
noticing because I keep her to the streets with this shit,
Yeah.
and the little screen come up at the end, and it'll have everything except PlayStation, or to say PC and Nintendo. I'm like, yo, why are all these games skipping fucking PlayStation?
Mm-hmm.
So what I think they're gonna do is right, and what they've been doing, uh, and another thing that really lends credence to this is that there are heavy rumors of an updated Switch. It's gonna have an updated Tegra chip or updated Nvidia chip, and it's probably gonna be strong as hell, right? Because it's a rumor that turn their developers they should have their games running at least able to output a 4K resolution. So I
Mm-hmm.
really think this new Switch is gonna be able to run most games in Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the X Cloud shit, which play anywhere, no matter the screen size and the controller. A lot of people take that statement from Todd Howard to mean it's coming to PlayStation. I take this statement to mean that it's going to work on X Cloud. It's going to work on X Cloud. It's going to work on your PC. They're doubling up their revenue streams on PC. You can either buy it through Game Pass or you can buy it on Steam at full price, $70 a whop.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo will have Game Pass eventually. I see Nintendo bending the knee to Game Pass way before Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Which would, and another thing a lot of people bring up, well, they don't want to, in the regions, right? They're gonna still have Europe. Xbox is pretty popular in Europe. They're gonna have the PC market in Europe, the Switch market, and in Japan, we might get to the Sega shit. They're trying to get some shit. They got a Japanese studio now. Tango Gameworks was part of the Bethesda deal. They got a Japanese studio. They're gonna get in bed with Nintendo, and if they do all of these things, it's going. I ain't gonna say it's a wrap for PlayStation, but that is gonna severely dent they mind share in this gaming industry. I definitely believe that.
I think when it comes to the mind share, yeah, we may there may be some mind share loss with PlayStation for sure. I definitely think there will be, but I also think with the way PlayStation has positioned themselves within the industry this generation, that's not going to be an easy task. Not saying PlayStation should not compete. Not saying PlayStation shouldn't, buy studios and solidify some deals and things like that. We know that PlayStation did say that they were working on bringing a lot of third-party exclusive deals and also acquiring more studios. We know that stuff is in the works on the back end. When we'll know about that stuff, we don't know. Business moves very slow. We don't know how that stuff will pan out, right? But even with that, right, with the whole thing with Bethesda, yes, that is going to dent PlayStation, but we also have to look at when Xbox can expect to even see the fruits of this acquisition really pan out. Because realistically, Starfield, Elder Scrolls, and Fallout, those are the three heavy hitters with Bethesda and ZeniMax. Those are
They got
that's the
more. They got
gravy.
more.
No,
They got more.
they got more games than that. I'm saying the
Yeah,
cream of the crop.
Doom won't be the big money makers. Yeah,
Doom just came out though, so
yeah.
we're not going to see another Doom for what, another 3 years, maybe
And,
two
and
3 years.
that's gonna be nominated for Game of the Year too, probably.
What you
So
talking about? Eternal?
yeah,
I
that's
could,
what a
yeah,
lot of people are. Well, that's what I'm hearing. I can't fucking stand Doom personally, but
yeah.
you can't really, you know what I mean? That's still at the end of the day, even though they didn't have them when that game was made or whatever, they can still put that feather in their cap, like, okay, we got the studio now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to interrupt, but like those are the big money makers. But at the same time, you got to look at it at a Game Pass situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those smaller games, you might get a new Wolfenstein, which is a huge game. But I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
certain shit like that, you can just throw in Game Pass. I used to hate when people say, you can just throw it in Game Pass. You know what I mean? But the more and more they're doing it, I see the vision now. You know what I mean? That Game Pass shit is real. Because
Yeah,
if
they
you
trying to
remember,
gobble up the market and
that's what
just
I'm
throw
saying.
everything in there. Now, how long can they sustain that? That's the part that remains to be seen because something has to give here, and this is where the market sustainability comes into play because you have to still have people buying into this market, putting
Yes.
money and things into the market, like everything being in Game Pass for $1 to $10 a month or $1 to $15 a month. That sounds good on paper, but look at Netflix. Netflix is successful, but Netflix is also 13 or $18 billion in debt, trying to
Yes.
keep shows new and keep fresh and shit like that. The sustainability of this, especially with video games and how gaming works, because that's TV shows. Video games continually making sure that these games are getting patch updates and DLC and doing all this other stuff. Where does it become too much to sustain? Because right now it's very top heavy. If I'm not paying into this industry, if you're not paying into this industry, and we're not going to stay too long on Game Pass because you and I, on our respective channels have talked about the sustainability of Game Pass or subscription-based services, period, for years now. Like, that's not what this is. But the sustainability of these big budget titles. I mean, look at what Xbox has acquired already, and look what's on the horizon right now, or what has released. Rare is a shell of their former self. Battletoads. Come on. And I'm not saying that these developers don't have potential to be better, but the caliber that a lot of people expect from gaming in these studios and stuff like that is not always going to be the caliber that's received. Now, because it's in Game Pass, a lot of people will remain oblivious and
Yeah.
say, oh, well, it's in
They're
Game
going.
Pass. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to be oblivious. So that's where the leverage comes into play. That's why I'm saying, yes, it's great. It's a power move. It's definitely a power move, right? But for some people that think that every game is going to be a big budget AAA, it's going to be that you went for a rude awakening because one, those games cost money to make. Two, if they're only on Game Pass and PC, I understand the vision is that you want everybody on Game Pass, right? You want billions and billions of people on Game Pass. You're going to have to spend money to get people there. Clearly, you see them doing that. But that's a heavy, heavy burden to carry. And that $7.5 billion, someone's paying the bill. Microsoft foot the bill, but they're definitely going to get their return. Where do you think that comes from? I don't see it only coming from Game Pass. Or
I do.
PC people.
I kind of do. I kind of do. I'm gonna be honest.
Tell me why.
Because okay, this is the thing, right? At first, like I said, we was on the same wavelength. I'm like, how are you putting all these, games that cost 40-50 million dollars? You got 100 or so games in here, varying from fucking 100 million to whatever price point. You offering it $1 to $10. How are you making money? But the thing is, with this shit they just did, that tells me a couple of things. That tells me they really don't give a fuck about making money right now, right? They really don't, because I never would have in a million years assumed that they would be willing to drop 7.5 billion fucking dollars into something, right? So they know it. They playing a long game right now. You know what I mean? They've been saying this shit for years, and it never really. We're starting to see the ramifications of what the fuck they've been talking about, right? We wrote the shit off, right? But they're willing to sink a lot of fucking money into this 7 point. We were told for years Xbox gaming division ain't even got that much fucking money, and they was looking to sell that all this other shit, right? So this shit they just did, it tells me they not fucking playing. They playing a long game. They wouldn't lose a little bit of money. And like I was saying, in April, Game Pass had 10 million people on it, right?
Yeah.
4 months later, it got 15 million people on it, right? That's a pretty big fucking increase in 4 months, in my opinion.
Is that consecutive? Is that like people consecutively paying month over month?
Currently, it's 15 million people in this motherfucker, bro. So it ain't like I said. This PlayStation, like I said, it ain't getting no better. Xbox Game Pass is getting more games, it's getting more exclusive studios, and it's getting more concurrent users. And Xbox on some sneaky shit. Not only are they taking away a lot of these $1 deals, even though I just got a couple of them, they taking away the introductory trial prices, and they're raising prices. You know what I mean? So I think they're gonna raise the price of Game Pass eventually. I think they just probably going to, but yeah, I think they committed to this shit. I really do.
So do you think that? Okay, so let me. So this is a good question to ask. Do you think that with seeing how Microsoft is moving right now, do you see yourself buying an Xbox?
You know what's crazy? I have never owned a fucking Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ever owned a fucking Xbox. At this rate, I'm keep 100% frank with you. I still do not want to. I still don't want an Xbox, right? I still do not want an Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How
I
many
do
more
want.
people like
I do
you?
want some. What you say?
How many more people like you? Because for me, I'm in the same boat. Because I even said this about the Bethesda deal. It's a great deal. I'm not taking away from that. But for me as a gamer personally, I only play maybe 1 or 2 games out this entire shit. So I really don't give a damn. Like in the same lengths. Do I still want PlayStation to compete? Yeah, and I didn't want that to come off as, oh yeah, we're just, people are just brushing off, oh well, because PlayStation's is still in a dominant position right now, that they can't be dethroned later. They can definitely be dethroned, but for me personally, looking at that list, I only care about 2 games there, if that.
I like 2 or 3 of that. That Deathloop shit really hurt though, bro. I don't even think I'm
It's
buying that game.
it's still gonna be PlayStation exclusive though, for the
I know.
timed exclusive. They're gonna maintain that.
I understand that, but just knowing that if a Deathloop 2 is possible or comes out, it's not gonna be on PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. It alters like I got Dishonored 2 in the tuck. I was finna play this shit sometime this year, but I don't even want to play that motherfucker no more, to be real.
You're not gonna play it. You're not gonna play it.
I probably still play it, but the thing is like Dishonored 3, if that ever come out, it's not gonna be on PlayStation. You know what I mean? That type of shit, just that sitting in the back of my mind, that shit hurts.
Yeah.
Hellblade, right? Sony funded fucking Hellblade. Sony funded this game. They helped them get it all, out there to the masses. Great fucking game. Hellblade 2 is not gonna be on PlayStation. You know what I mean? And that hurts. That really hurts when you think about shit like that. So, hey man, Microsoft ain't playing fair, dog, and I can't do nothing but respect it at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, but for me, I'm looking at it like it's business. It's not fair. Business is never fair. PlayStation definitely got some egg on their face with a couple of deals. Definitely a Hellblade deal and it's crazy because Ninja Theory, those dudes are some of the biggest liars in the industry, because they made
They
dev.
said they want to be a part. They said
Yeah,
they want to be a part.
they said that they wanted dev. They said in their diaries, we will never be acquired. We're independent. We love our independence and all this other shit. And seeing those diaries prior to the game, I mean, I still would have bought the game because the game is great and very excited. But seeing those dev diaries and stuff like that, and then seeing that how that business happened, I'm like, you look kind of funny here. You feel me? Now with Bethesda and Microsoft, because I watched the Bethesda, the Larry Herb interview today that he did with Todd Howard, Pete Hines, and Phil Spencer. They've definitely had a very strong relationship with Microsoft for some years. So that part of it too, I'm not surprised either, because they've been doing business together, just like when Insomniac got bought. I mean, how long has Insomniac been making PlayStation games, and PlayStation ain't own them?
Yeah, it made sense.
So I'm like, shit like that makes sense. You feel me? So the Bethesda pickup, it makes sense to me looking at it from a bird's eye view, right? When it comes to PlayStation, especially with some folks in the PlayStation community, the first day that this stuff got announced, I seen people really they were worried, and this is why. And this is not to dismiss Xbox and Bethesda, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, we got one of the best launch lineups coming in the next couple of months with PlayStation, and some people are just they're worried, and I'm like, why are you so worried? Like, seeing the launch lineup and seeing the games that's to come with PlayStation, and seeing the other business moves that they've been doing with, we got God of War coming, we got Final Fantasy 16, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a couple other games, and seeing those types of things happening, does that not ease your mind a little bit about the future of PlayStation?
Not really. I'm gonna be honest too. I mean, I'm excited because the next generation is coming, and of course, I pre-ordered 2 PlayStation PS5s. But if I'm being real with myself, I'm really not excited. And you know who's to blame for this? PlayStation is to blame for this. No doubt about it. Because as excited as I got during that last event, I did live reaction Blaze 4K. I'm loving everything I'm seeing. I'm like, holy shit! Like, yeah, I need that right now. Damn, this game, all this shit. But And this is another thing a lot of people are not shining the light on. PlayStation did not want us to know all this bad information, right? That's what they
Nah,
didn't
they
want us.
definitely didn't.
That's what I'm saying. It's no reason Jeff Keighley is tweeting out Wario 64, Nibble, or whatever the fuck, Z Huge, Shinobi. All these dudes. As soon as the PlayStation been over with, I'm geeked. I'm like, yes, let's get it. They finally giving us the information. They've been quiet. Let's get it. And then nothing but negative shit comes out after that, right? So
Mm.
I'm just like, damn. PlayStation, like, I really see a reversal of force. Even though Microsoft, this is the thing about optics. Microsoft has done nothing game wise to give me faith in them going forward. But the way that it's currently set up, it seemed like the trajectory is totally different, right? It seemed like both companies did a 180 from 2013, and the roles are reversed because even though PlayStation, I, this is what's wrong with PlayStation, right? They like the chick that's fine, bad as fuck
Mhm.
out in the club, but then when she go home, she pull off the wig, take off the eyelash, they got 15. That's PlayStation to me right
Yeah,
now, bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because in public they bad as fuck, but in private it's ugly, bro. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
yeah.
real ugly. It's a lot of like secretive, backhanded shit they doing. So it's like, is is the grass really green like they showing us, or is it some shit going on? Because
This
all
is
the shit we get is just bad news for real.
this is the thing, and I was one of the first people. I was definitely one of the few people that was like, look, PlayStation. Me and Bari, shout out to Bari, very vocal about PlayStation omitting the information about Miles Morales, Sackboy, and Horizon. Right. I do wish that they were upfront about that information, just because regardless if you would have said this then or now, I'm still buying a PlayStation 5. You get what I'm saying? The
Exactly.
PS5 is still being bought. Now, this is my issue. A lot of folks in the community, before that news came out, and be honest with me, Jack, I'm going to ask you, and be 100% honest. Before that news came out, did those games look next gen to you? Be honest.
No.
Seriously?
I,
What?
you know what's crazy,
Yeah, yeah,
Persona?
yeah.
I remember vividly, right? And people was getting on my ass, right? Because you remember when they came out with the first event, they said it was 1080p 30 or whatever, so I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't correctly judge it. But I went back on my TV. I think I might even miss still streaming. I pulled up the 4K videos. I'm like, yo, this shit don't even like. Because I kept saying like, I don't think they rendered the videos right, or this is an upscale trailer from a 1080p video. The only game I thought really looked next gen was Ratchet and Clank.
Okay.
Ironically, right? That's the only one that's exclusive. I like Ratchet. I'm like Horizon didn't look that, and people was like kind of getting on me like, bro, what the fuck wrong with your TV and all this other
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
And then I remember doing press start that week out the same week. He was like, Jack, did those games look like they couldn't be done on a PS4? And then I was like, if I'm being honest, not really. It looked like some shit could be done on PS4. Now I'm not saying the games did not look amazing, but the thing is, PS4 still putting out games that look amazing. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like you splitting hairs with shit like that. But honestly, and I said this too, Ratchet and Clank. Honestly, I think all this shit can be done on a PS4. Clearly, a lot of it can because of what they showing us.
Mm.
I'm not saying they lying about the power of the PS5 or no shit like that, but I really need to see comparison videos to see. Like at this point, bro, if we being real, PS4 is looking like a PS4 Pro at this motherfucker. Like it looked
PS5.
like
Oh man.
think about it, bro. As a matter of fact, the discless PS4 is the same price as a PS4 Pro, bro.
Yeah.
And I know
But it's
technology
the same. But it's the same power though. Like there's no power disadvantage between the
I'm talking
two.
about the PS4. I'm talking about the PS4 Pro and the PS5 discless version.
Oh, okay.
They,
Okay.
yeah, they both $399. So it's like, what are we really getting it? What are we really getting ourselves into here? You know what I
Well,
mean?
not even though that's three. It's for $399. The power of both consoles is vastly different. Like the PS4 Pro. I mean, the PS4 Pro and the PS5 are very different in terms of the components within the console.
I hope so. No. At this point, I hope so. I'm gonna take your word for it.
My whole thing is with PlayStation omitting this information. It's fucked up, right? And PlayStation definitely get they get the pow slap on the hand, right? But I'm still looking, and this is why I say you have to look at the track record and look at the history, right? If we look at just this generation from PlayStation, PlayStation has they've done good by us, right? They
Yes.
like as gamers,
For the
we
most
have
part,
been
yes.
getting some solid some really great games over the course of the entire generation. Now, do they make mistakes? Yes. Is this a bad moment? Yes. Yes. I agree. Right? I agree that PlayStation fucked up with their messaging. They should have been up front, because even if they were up front, the way they could have made their case is, look, these games are cross-gen, but like you said, let's do the comparison. So Spider-Man on PS4 and PS5, the differences. Horizon, the differences. All that shit. Yeah, exactly. Those type of things I do wish they would do, right? Because it does leave a lot to a wandering mind, right? What is it? Wandering mind is the devil's playground, right? If minds are left to wander, they're going to make up their own scenarios and their own ideologies of what they think things are when they really aren't.
Yep.
Right? So though I agree 100%, PlayStation should have been on top of this type of information and been up front since the beginning. But, and there has to be a but, because even though this is messed up in this moment, PlayStation is still delivering on the games. And the games still look amazing. They still look amazing, right? So, seeing this information, does this stop you from buying a PlayStation 5? I still want to play the games in the best fidelity. You feel me? I still want to play the games at its best. And what is playing it at its best? Yeah. PlayStation 5.
But Persona, we got to keep it real though, right? Okay, let's look at it like this, right? And let's go back to the whole thing. And I don't even think people realize it, because it is there. PlayStation third-party relationships are in the fucking gutter right now, yo. They're, for the most part, they're in the fucking trash, right? If you look at their
what makes you okay? I don't mean control. What makes you say that? Outside of the Bethesda acquisition, what else are you seeing that makes you say that?
I can tell you. CD Projekt Red games are automatically associated with Xbox. They just are. All the Xbox insiders, even the motherfuckers that be lying, they all got a Cyberpunk chair. Alana Pierce is in fucking Cyberpunk. She's on the Xbox podcast right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They got Paris hosting the fucking Night City Wire. He's an Xbox guy, right? Mm-hmm. They got the marketing deal with Xbox. They got a console exclusive with Xbox. I won't be surprised if Xbox acquires CD Projekt Red, actually. Witcher 2 was only on Xbox. It wasn't on PS. Okay, so that's them. EA Play, which used to be EA Access, is gimped on PlayStation because there's no backwards compatibility. So EA Play on Xbox automatically has more games. It's included in the price of Game Pass. So they got a tighter relationship with EA. Ubisoft, I believe Valhalla, all that shit, I think, got marketing deals with fucking even Far Cry, Valhalla. They all got marketing deals with Xbox. As a matter of fact, people was confused, and this is another thing where PlayStation not getting in front of the rumors, not announcing shit. People thought that all those games are going to be 4K 60 on Xbox, but not PlayStation, which is not true. They're going to be 4K 60 on both of them. But what I'm saying is, Ubisoft, all their games got marketing deals with Xbox. They're enhanced, quote unquote, for the X. That's big. Those are big things right there. Activision
has most of their more third-party deals are with PlayStation, and the biggest game is Call of Duty, bigger than a lot of what was named, and that's aligned with PlayStation.
They plug in with PlayStation.
Battlefield is also aligned with PlayStation.
But Battlefield is
Battlefield is one of the biggest titles on PlayStation. FIFA is the most popular sports title out, and that's aligned with PlayStation.
I don't. Well, yeah, because PlayStation Europe, FIFA, but I don't even know about them all Battlefield.
And Assassin's Creed has always been with Xbox. What else? Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs was aligned with PlayStation. Assassin's Creed was with Xbox.
Far Cry Xbox.
Far Cry was Xbox. Rockstar as well. Thank you, Rollo. Shout out to Rollo in the chat. Rockstar's aligned with PlayStation, right? 2K aligned with PlayStation.
Not necessarily though, because
RDR2, Red Dead Redemption 2. That's PlayStation.
No, Red Dead was Xbox. Remember?
No, Red Dead Redemption 2 was aligned with PlayStation. PlayStation had the exclusive missions and all that stuff. Like
it was just better on the Xbox.
Yeah. And these games and a lot of the games named still sold more on PlayStation.
Oh,
Now,
yeah, of course.
does Xbox have, it's funny though, because Xbox is doing what we wanted them to do. Is that fair to say? Because what do we always say, right? PlayStation guys, we say, we don't want an Xbox because Xbox don't got nothing that we want to play, right? Xbox ain't competing. Xbox needs to start doing marketing deals and all this other stuff, right? They do. I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's them competing. Now, how is PlayStation going to respond?
Can I say something too, though?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
This is gonna sound outlandish, and y'all just gonna have to stick with me. You might not even agree with this, right? Okay. I'm gonna try to put this in terms. Well, I watch sports. Okay. PlayStation is viewed as the New England Patriots with fucking Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They're viewed as the fucking '96 Bulls with Pippen and Jordan, right? They're viewed as this is an underdog story, right? And nobody loves anything more than to root for the underdog, right? Now, just think about it. Just listen to what I'm saying. I don't want to sound like I'm doing a conspiracy, but these companies will team up to fuck over PlayStation. We've seen it time and time and time again, right? PC, even Gabe Newell, he said, I don't know why the fuck you'll buy a PS3. That shit trash, garbage. Even though they end up working with PlayStation after that. But these companies are tight. Steam and Microsoft are more tight than PlayStation and Steam. Xbox and Nintendo clearly are more tight than these. They will work together to overthrow play. I'm telling you, bro, people are tired. The people in this industry are fucking tired of PlayStation dominating. I don't know why. I don't know what PlayStation did to them in the past life, even though Nintendo been one of the rudest fucking companies out there as far as how they treat people. But for some reason, I really sense people fucking hate PlayStation, and they trying to get them the fuck out of here, bro. I truly feel that, and I think they will do anything that it takes, as far as even acquiring fucking damn near $8 billion worth of assets to get PlayStation the fuck up out of here, bro. It's happening, bro. I'm telling you.
I hear you, and I can. It's funny. I actually can see that, right? Because it's funny how you definitely see people in the community or in the industry that they speak as if PlayStation has wronged them. Fuck their wife or some shit, and I'm like, have you looked at PlayStation this entire generation? Like, they have given you the highest quality gaming experience possible. How can you be mad?
They can't do no right in these people's eyes, though. You see that, right?
Yeah, no, I see. So I see what you mean, 100%. But I think with PlayStation, I think with some of these companies, man, I think because you have to look back last generation during the PS3 360 era, a lot of games weren't coming to PlayStation right away anyway. Xbox had year-long exclusivity deals for Mass Effect, Fallout, like all these. They had these. Microsoft was curb stomping PlayStation for a good part of last generation.
It was something different about that last gen too, though. Persona, you got to remember, last gen PlayStation had more studios, and the turnaround time on these games wasn't as long, so they was actually able to sustain a lot of the shit they tried to do the shit last gen, like you saying, right? But the turnaround on games wasn't as long. The production and PlayStation didn't even have as much money last year. But I felt like they first party really pulled them through that. Now is going forward, you know what I mean? Is we still going?
But look at their games this generation. PlayStation's developers are second to none with a lot of these third party devs.
I agree with that.
Like, PlayStation developers are out here putting masterpieces out, right? So some people might feel a ways about that and want to dethrone that. But even when PlayStation was at its worst, which was during the PlayStation 3 generation, their first party still pulled them through. Now, again, I'm not saying that PlayStation should solely rely on this. They need to build relationships. They do need to acquire some studios, but they need to do it strategically, right? I don't want PlayStation, business doesn't operate based off, oh, they did this, now we got to do this. Like, it's got to be strategic, and it's got to fall in line with what they can do financially and what makes the most sense in the moment. or in the in the next 2 to 3 years, right? Because again, this is why I used Insomniac as a perfect example. PlayStation bought Insomniac after Marvel Spider-Man, which Marvel Spider-Man released in 2018. PlayStation bought them in 2019. We're getting Insomniac's next two games, Spider-Man Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, this year. PlayStation bought Insomniac last year, and we've already got two games that will be releasing within a couple of months of each other.
And we gotta be real about this too. And I'm loving what Insomniac doing. They're definitely the MVP of the situation right now. But I do think that's an anomaly, though. I don't think we're gonna. This is what I don't think people like Nintendo. And Nintendo damn near died with the they ain't damn near died, but we saw what happened with their Wii U, right? They was trying to go strictly off their no that many third party situation, whatever. And PlayStation, even though I feel personally PlayStation make way better games than Nintendo, PlayStation cannot do what Nintendo does, right? Because even though, like, you got to look at a game like Animal Crossing, right? Animal Crossing ain't no fucking bro. Animal Crossing sold like 23 million copies, bro. It sold 13 million copies in 13 weeks or whatever, 11. Bro, PlayStation ain't doing that, bro. I don't give a fuck how great Miles Morales. I don't give a fuck how great The Last of Us Part 2 is, my game of the year. I don't give a fuck how great the next God of War Horizon gonna be. The shit ain't selling 20 million copies in 20 weeks, bro. It's just not gonna happen, bro. Like I don't know what the fuck they have to do to get that to happen. It should be like that. It's never gonna be like that. So even though PlayStation makes amazing fucking quality games, even though they do sell amazing, you know what I mean? That Nintendo shit ain't even fucking normal, right? Them games be selling 20, 30 million. Like, games don't even sell like that, bro. Like, you putting yourself in the top 10 game sales all the time with numbers like that they do. So that shit is not even normal. But my thing is, Nintendo games are cheaper to develop and they got a way lower turnaround time, right? So they're able to sustain, and they sell way more. They selling double what these fucking PlayStation games are. So,
but you got to also look at it like this: those games are also selling more, and even with a lot of PlayStation, with some PlayStation exclusives, those games are also selling more than a lot of third-party games out here that are on multiple systems.
Absolutely.
You know what? Last of Us Part 2 sold what, 4 million in 3 days?
No, that's incredible. Well, no, what I'm saying is, though, you do need those games for the downtime. And if you notice, my main emphasis, it's not even on these big AAA games. It's a lot of smaller titles PlayStation is missing out on now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, we're getting so many games late. It's games we still don't get. Games that y'all might not even care about, but they do matter because these are games that people play in their spare time and in between time between these big releases. Like, they looked up and got Fall Guys, which is a great fucking game. I'm glad they got that because, you know what's crazy? All Devolver Digital games before Fall Guys was coming to everything except PlayStation. Even though at the beginning of the generation, all their games were only coming to PC and PlayStation. You see what I'm saying? So I'm seeing a reversal in a lot of this shit, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing, dog. I'm definitely not. And that's another thing I want to bring up. Shuhei Yoshida. What the fuck has he been doing, bro?
He's I think he deals with indies now.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like, why? Okay, Hades. Hades is a highly acclaimed indie game that came out around 1 year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
anyway,
2 years or something like that.
People saying it should be nominated for Game of the Year, all this other shit. Why did that just come to Switch? And it's still not on PlayStation. It's on PC. I don't even know if it's on Xbox.
No, it's not. It was only on PC for a long time. It just now came to Switch.
Epic Game Store. But my thing is, I guarantee if it don't come day and date with PlayStation and Xbox, it's gonna come to Xbox first. And it shouldn't be like that. All the Supergiant games were exclusive to PlayStation and PC when at launch. Transistor, PS4 and PC.
Yeah.
Now look at how it's going. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It ain't even got that. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. It's not only the big AAA developer. We're seeing this at a ground level with PlayStation, and they even put somebody with more clout. First, what was my man name? I forgot old buddy name that was in that position at first. He don't got as much clout as Shuhei, bro. Why has Shuhei not garnered these fucking deals? I'm thinking he finna get out here and do work. Fall Guys is a huge situation, but other than that, what we got? I'm over here thirsty for new indie titles to play. It should not be like that.
There's still some indie titles dropping, but I do agree and see what you mean, because like Hades, I was actually surprised that Hades was an Epic Store exclusive. Like that was exclusive to PC.
Ape Out ain't on PlayStation. My friend Pedro came late. I ended up getting on PC first. I tweeted image of form because Steam World Quest came out, which all their games used to they do usually launch on Nintendo first, but it's like Nintendo and PlayStation type shit with them. I tweeted them about Steam World Quest because it was a Stadia exclusive at one point, and they said, "Yeah, we don't even have no plans to ever bring this game to PlayStation." I'm like, "Yo, what?" They told me that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that hit me. And they're making an exclusive game right now for the Xbox Series X, which is called the Gunk, right? They've
Yeah.
never been able to work with Xbox like that. So this shit is all from top to bottom. It's looking spooky over there, bro. It definitely is.
There's definitely certain things that's definitely because PlayStation was known as the indie box at the beginning of
They
the
got
gen.
ridiculed for that shit.
And now I definitely see what you mean. There's still, like I said, there's still some great indies dropping out there, but I think what a lot of it might be, especially with the inception of the Switch became that go-to indie system. Not making excuses for PlayStation, but the Switch became that go-to indie system, and a lot of people were saying that they love, the portability and doing all this. So with the Switch, this is why I say, like, with the Switch, it could definitely be that's like their competition in terms of the indies and the smaller titles, because the smaller titles can really be made and played anywhere because they're small, smaller, less demanding, and things like that.
And Game Pass, you got to remember them perfect games for Game Pass too.
Yeah, them Game Pass games, the Switch and things like that. So that's what that is. But I think
AKA with everything except play. And where else would they do good on PC? Because PC gamers ain't got shit to play.
yeah,
Everywhere else except play. Bro, I'm trying to tell y'all, man. You know what's crazy, Persona, right?
Hmm.
I look like the crazy guy right now. I got the tinfoil hat on. I'm drawing on the fucking chalkboard. In 5 to 10 years, what we gonna be saying, bro? Like, I'm worried, bro. I'm really worried.
No, yeah, and this is why I'm saying, when it comes to the business moves and PlayStation moving strategic, this is why I'm saying, I'm not expecting, and I think some people are expecting. So we got the Bethesda news Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, PlayStation's supposed to announce acquisitions. That's not that's how some people are operating though. Like, what's PlayStation doing? Where's PlayStation? And I'm like, you people realize, look at the launch lineup here. Look at what's coming out. Like, some of you dudes need to calm down because, this is great, but Xbox still ain't got shit to play on launch of the goddamn new next gen consoles. That shit is still the truth. Like, let's be real here. Their biggest game still to this date, Halo, is delayed, right? So that's why I'm like some, PlayStation guys, let's dial it back a bit, right? Now, when it comes to the acquisitions, again, yes, there's certain studios that are no-brainers. House Marquee, Sumo Digital, Blue Point. Those are 3 studios PlayStation needs to most definitely solidify. They have to, because they only make for you. Business with you. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I know you said you wanted to touch on the Bethesda thing itself. Go ahead, you got the floor.
I mean, what you talking about?
I mean, you said you wanted to touch on Bethesda itself. You wanted to talk about that.
I'm gonna keep it real, bro. I don't even remember.
Okay, all right. Sure.
Oh, but what I will say about that Bethesda shit is just, and this is another thing I really can't stand, specifically from the PlayStation community. And this is more like PlayStation dick eaters. I wouldn't say fans. You got a lot of PlayStation fans.
Oh yeah, it's
more
fence hoppers.
Yeah. I just don't like how we're not gonna act like motherfuckers want to run around hyping up Deathloop to the ends of the fucking earth, and now. Like, I just don't understand how you can hype that up crazy, and then when another person purchases the whole company and IP, it's not a big deal to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that don't even make sense, bro. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand, bro. But
I think that has to do with the fact that a lot of folks out here, they aren't real PlayStation fans per se.
That's true.
And we see this all the time. Like, PlayStation was popular. And it was the bandwagon. It's like the Cavs. It's like Golden State. They winning championships. So I'm this my team. This my team. They ain't win a championship in 2 years. It's kind of hard to sell tickets. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I think. That's what this is when it comes to certain fans within the community. But when it comes to the real fans that are like, buy Konami, buy Square, buy this, buy that, I'm like, why? How does that align in what they do?
I got a question for you right quick too.
Go ahead.
Because I feel like, I I mean, I would. This is the thing, though, right? If PlayStation was about like a big third party dev, of course I would like that because I fuck with it. Well, depending on what it was, but I actually think that would be horrible for the industry because if this continues at this rate, the game
Nothing.
industry is gonna be fucked over, yo.
Game is gonna be. It's gonna be. It's gonna be real segregated.
Exactly.
It's gonna be really segregated. This is why I'm like, you know, yeah, I want certain studios to get bought up and stuff like that or whatever. You know, because you want certain things. Because listen, the joy of having something exclusive to your favorite platform, I don't care what nobody said. That's definitely, that makes you a little extra happy. You happy about the games, but that exclusivity thing definitely makes you a little extra happy, right? That's the part of this that I don't think no one is understanding, right? And this is the hypocritical part from the Xbox side because just the, what was it, Jack? 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and they were like exclusives is anti-consumer.
Man.
And shit like this. Come on, man. That all that's out the window.
You remember the Spider-Man shit? I'm not paying more for less content and all this.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, play anywhere. You know the vibe.
They don't stand by their convictions, man. We talking about from industry folks on down to the crumb side. No, everybody threw their convictions out the window when this Bethesda shit got bought, and that's when you fools got exposed.
Yes, sir.
Because
yes, sir.
And that's the part of it where I'm like, yo, I wish you dudes would have maintained this energy from the get-go. Because now you look like liars and fools. Because this is good, right? It's exclusives. Exclusives are good. Exclusives sell consoles. Exclusives makes your brand, makes your console. It separates the consoles.
Yes, yes.
So a lot of you Xbox dudes out here look foolish, but at the same time, you also look like hypocrites because a lot of you motherfuckers don't give a fuck about Bethesda games anyway. Come on now, let's be real. Come on. But okay, so Jim Ryan. Matter of fact, before we talk about Jim Ryan, let me read these super chats. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. 200 people, man. I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. All right, so Gideon. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, Jimmy is that dude at work that doesn't do anything, but the boss owes him a favor. Cut him loose and get the extra Patreon share. Ah, man. I think you're talking about Weapon Wheel. Ah, Jesus.
How you follow us over with this?
Yeah, I don't know. You come on in with the Weapon Wheel smoke. Oh, no. Glorious War, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, Sony was broke during the PS3 generation and produced a lot of games. Sony is more cash rich than ever before, and they will compete. I agree. They're definitely doing a lot better now because even their Sony net worth is now in the 100 billions. So, and I think about 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, they were at 60 or something like that. So they're definitely a lot higher now. But let's see how things move. What do you got to say about that, Jack?
I mean, I agree. That's awesome. My thing is, I just never want to get complacent. You know what I mean? Like I was telling BG, these teams don't win a championship in sports and then don't do, scouting at the combine after that, right? You still want to sharpen your team. You still want to bring in fresh talent. Yeah. You just want to keep up with your competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's healthy.
King Pro, thank you so much for the super chat. He says Game Pass will be fine because the new Skyrim and Fallout, etc., can still go to PlayStation for $70 versus Microsoft on Game Pass. They can keep the new IPs off PlayStation as well. Skyrim is bank. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Elder Scrolls and Fallout, I feel like those two titles will be on everything. Personally, I do think those two titles will be there. The more smaller titles, more obscure, new IPs and stuff like that, I think that's the stuff we might see only on PC and Xbox. What do you think?
I think shit like Elder Scrolls Online will probably stay on everything because that's a MMO and it needs a player base.
Yeah.
Other than that, no. I really see it. I'm not a business guy. I'm not even smart enough. Clearly, if I was Microsoft, if I was the people in charge, I would say what I've been saying. Let's put this on everything except because their goal is clear, right? I know they say they want gamers to be gamers. That's all bullshit. They want you to game everywhere except play. That's my slogan going forward. Everywhere except PlayStation. That's what the fuck they want. It ain't play anywhere. That's not the goal. We see what the fuck going on, Phil.
Yeah.
You ain't fooling nobody.
Big shout out to Ash and Luca. She said, shout out to my man's Jack, top 5 funniest dudes in the community. What's up,
Oh,
Persona? Ashton, what is going on? Appreciate you coming through. And Glorious Roar says, Jack, who should play Sony buy to counter? Square?
like I said, man, that looks nice and all that shit. I really don't want them. I just don't want this to start happening, bro. Because when they do that, then they just gonna go. Microsoft is gonna be back in their court, right? Okay, well now we need to. The Sega rumor's been heavy, right? And they in bed with Sega too. That's
I think that
thing.
got debunked, though, later today, this evening. I thought that got debunked.
Well, not the acquisition might be debunked, but I've seen 8 confirmed cases of them fucking sending hints at each other. It's that the other rumor too, though, right? Persona?
What's the other one?
The other rumor is that Xbox is getting rebranded in Japan to be sold under the Sega name, so it'll be like the Sega Xbox or whatever the fuck they gonna call it. Like Sega gonna be running the Xbox division in Japan. That's been heavily rumored too. So I still believe that's true. Which is a smart move. I think that's a smart move.
I think that's how Microsoft is trying to get their foothold in Japan too.
And that opens the door to shit like Persona being on fucking Yakuza Persona. Hey man, we seeing remnants of it right now. Where there's smoke, there's fire, my guy. Trust me.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Jim Ryan. What's your thoughts on Jim Ryan, Jack? Do you think he's good for PlayStation?
Absolutely not. Jim Ryan is a cancer in play. I criticize Herman Holtz too. I don't think it's fully her. I think Herman Holtz is a fall guy for Jim Ryan. And what's crazy? Jim Ryan has been with PlayStation for like 20 some odd years. He was over at Sony Europe, which PlayStation Europe was their most successful division. But I used to always hear about Jim Ryan, but I didn't know too much about him. But the one thing I always used to hear about Jim Ryan is that he was a liar. Pretty much people say he's a piece of shit, really, right? As far as and when he really started becoming prominent in this community, as far as his name being mentioned, I remember it was a quote where he was saying like, people don't like to play old games, pretty much, right? Meanwhile, he's promoting shit like PS Now and downloading PS2 games to your PS4. So my problem with Jim Ryan is that he says things in the moment to try to, like, I guess, sidetrack or divert attention, but it never does. The only thing it does is creates confusion and goes directly against what has already been said, and I cannot stand that. It's very annoying. It muddies the fucking message. I could have swore they said they got rid of Sean Layden because it was too many redundant positions and people weren't saying the same shit. But now it's just him, and people still ain't saying, how are you the only person in charge? And people still ain't saying the same shit. Like, who the fuck lying at this point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Jim Ryan, let's go back to the beginning of the year. When that whole MLB shit started, I said, yo, this ain't a good look. This isn't a good look at all. And that's when everybody else, exclusives are bad, blah, blah. Now y'all change it to them, but we ain't gonna go back to that. I'm like, listen, why is San Diego making shit for other developers on other platforms? And why the fuck is this, third party? They said, oh, this is MLB, PlayStation don't own the licenses, whatever.
That's just one game.
Fine.
Yep, that's just one game.
So I'm like, fine, Jack. I'm like, fine, cool, fine. I'll give you that. But then shit started with Horizon. Oh, Horizon's going to PC? Nah, they would never do that. Nah. They dodged that for like 3 months.
Just one game. Look, you see what I'm saying? Like,
out of nowhere. Oh, this is coming to PC. I'm like, why? Oh, we're doing this as a test. Test of what?
Exactly.
The games are selling millions on PlayStation. What you testing?
Exactly.
And then the sales just came out today that the shit was what, 700 or something thousand? You happy with that? PC PC got what, 100 million people on this shit? And yeah, we can't use the attachment rate, but we can't use the attachment rate argument. But why the fuck is this on PC, bruh?
Hey man,
you getting greedy? You getting too greedy, PlayStation? Right?
And so, ask you a question, right? So this is my thing with the whole Horizon thing, right? They want to talk about redundance. What the fuck is this is my issue. What the fuck is the point of PS Now, bro? Is it or is it not to play PlayStation games on multiple devices that aren't necessarily a PlayStation, right? And why would you bring Horizon to PS Now, where you could have just kept it there? You could do a Game Pass situation where it might not come day and date, but when a first party game touches the fucking service, it stays there.
Yeah,
It could have just stayed on. It could have stayed on PS Now. If you want to play Horizon on PC, buy PS Now. What
yeah.
is the point of PS Now if you're not utilizing it for the main? Like that's my issue. Shit like that. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing too. I think with PS Now is, I think they're slowly inching towards that with the whole Game Pass shit. Like a part of me feels like that because there's certain things that PlayStation has been doing lately where I'm just like, yo, your actions and your words just don't match. And
Exactly.
it's bugging me out because I'm like, as a PlayStation dude, I can't be out here, yo, especially with this whole with the We Believe in Generation shit. I felt kind of foolish because I'm like, yo, I really do believe in generation. Like I believe in this shit, bruh.
Facts.
I believe in this shit, bruh. Consoles have done this for decades. This whole leave a generation behind and moved on, right? I believe in this shit, man. I've been playing games since Super Nintendo. When you got a 64, you can't put no 64 cartridge in a Super Nintendo.
Fuck on.
You move on. I still had my Super Nintendo. It was in the closet, but I still had it. So, like, that whole like, I really believe in that. That wasn't just, no, oh, it was because of PlayStation. I really believed in that, right? So, when PlayStation was preaching that shit, I'm like, yo, this is great, right? You don't want shit held back. You want to put all resources to this, that, and the third. Then, when I saw this, I'm like, yo, Jim Ryan, what's good, bro? What are you doing, man?
Exactly.
You been here almost a year, and you already fucking up. You can't be lying like this.
he This is the thing too, Persona. If we really just did the research, nothing, everything he said publicly, you could find something to contradict that. That is not good, bro. This is looking like 2014 Phil Spencer out this bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck that. This looking like fucking March Phil Spencer out this bitch. You know what I mean? Like I'm not seeing nothing but lies and deception coming from this dude, yo.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
shit is
and those are the things where I'm just like, I'm disappointed, right? Like I'm disappointed because PlayStation they ended the generation strong, but they entering this next gen kind of they're entering the next gen strong as well, but there's certain aspects, certain things that are kind of spooky, man. Yeah,
Besides the
certain
games,
things are shaky.
the games are the most important thing, but everything internally that people see, casual people, they're not gonna know. People that's actually in the know or semi in the know, it's shaky, bro. This shit
Yeah,
look crazy.
yeah,
Like something going on.
and it's like you read the report that the quarterly report they did, and they're like, yeah, we're exploring putting putting more games on PC, and I'm like, so that the test over then, right? It passed, so now
Yeah,
this is
no
gonna be
worries.
the thing, right? Like that's the shit that, and again, I guess that's me being in gaming for so long. I'm so used to the status quo, and I don't want that to change because again, what makes these consoles great? You think of PlayStation, you think of the exclusives. When you think of Nintendo, the exclusives. When you think of Xbox, you think of a good space heater. You feel me? Like there's things that are exclusive to these different consoles that just make them so great. And I feel like going into the next gen, and as we get deeper in the years and stuff like that, that stuff is going to dwindle, and really the lines are going to get extremely blurred. But how hurtful is that going to be for the big three?
Now
Because
I got a question, Persona. Okay, so the whole shit with the Demon Souls remake, right? How I
mm-hmm,
said coming to PC and consoles at a later date,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
Now they said that was a mistake, right?
yeah.
This is my question to you. If in a year or two's time we hear Demon Souls remake coming to PC, that means they were lying again. You see what I'm saying? Like,
And yeah, yeah.
and the whole dual sense fiasco. I
What
don't know,
DualSense fiasco? What happened with that? I don't think I know that one.
because they said PlayStation put out an official statement that said that PS5 games cannot be played with a DualShock 4 because of all the innovations and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that most of them games they were talking about, they referred to Ratchet and Clank, which is only on PS5. They referred to Spider-Man. which is on both, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself, it tells me I don't see why it wouldn't be able to. I mean, one of them might run at a way better fidelity, but at the core of it, it's still the same fucking game. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's the thing though, and that's the part of it where Jim Ryan did come out. Was it Jim Ryan or somebody else? I think it was. PlayStation came out and they did say that the games would be developed separately. The games that they mentioned that will be on PS4 and PS5, the development process of those games are going to take advantage of each console's feature set and components and shit like that, right?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't buy it, bro. I don't believe it. At this point, because PlayStation before this last 6 months to a year, I gave them all the benefit of the doubt, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people were clowning them, saying they waited to the last minute to take the camera out of the PS4 and change the price at the last minute, I never agree with that. I said that's fucking stupid. It takes months to lock in and prices and all that. But the way they've been acting this past year, I'm like, damn, were people on like it? I was always the one to defend any PlayStation slander. I've been on that type time, right? But now it's like, was some of this slander warranted? Was it real? Like, was I just blindly defending something because this is what I fuck with? Because this dude, Jim Ryan, bro, he is making me doubt. He ain't making me doubt PlayStation games, but the PlayStation brand and how they move, I cannot defend shit they say, bro, because I've been like you just said about this We Believe in Generation shit. I was screaming that shit to the heaven top show.
Mm-hmm.
I was calling J Main a dumbass for saying the dual shock force should be able to work on. I'm like, bro, that's dumb as hell, bro. You got this stupid. But hey, listen, man.
Definitely some egg, it's some egg on a couple of PlayStation fans' faces right now.
It made us look. At the end of the day, we look like the fucking idiots, bro. The real fans look like the fucking idiots. For the
I mean, but who do you, and this is a question I wanted to ask on Scumcast last week, but I couldn't. Who do you believe then? Like, when it comes to this game industry shit and news and shit like that, because I damn sure don't believe these publications. I'm more inclined to believe, I ain't believing these inside motherfuckers either. I'm more inclined to believe PlayStation than anybody else, because who else really, like, for instance, a random ass nigga on Twitter, that these niggas is on Twitter, talking about, oh yeah, this is this. You gonna believe them? I don't believe shit they say.
You know who I think I believe the most?
Who?
Which is crazy. I believe motherfuckers like Wario64 and Jeffrey. This is why I say this, right? This is why I say this. Because they are plugged in heavy with actual employees of these companies, right? So they get a lot of these details behind closed doors. So I kind of feel like they really be knowing what's really going on, but they don't put the full story out there. Like motherfucker like Jason Schreier. These are the people I actually believe at this point, because as we can see at the tippy top, Phil Spencer, Jim Ryan, they're not to be trusted, right? Now these developers, while I do want to believe the developers, you got to remember who they reporting back to, and you got to remember.
But why would they lie, bro? They lying like that, like I like outright, blatantly, when you know the game's gonna be in niggas' hands and people's hands.
The thing, though, right? The shit that they're saying, it really can't even be fact checked. There's no way to prove they developed this shit specifically for the PS5 and then downscaled or developed the PS4. Looking at with your naked eye or playing, it's no way for us to even, you know what I mean? So some shit like that can't even be fact checked. But the thing is, they got bosses, you know what I mean? Like inside the whole Spider-Man debacle about it being called, I'm pretty fucking sure Insomniac would have made the game a free update, even though they put in all this work. I think they would have did it, but guess what? They don't get to decide that. PlayStation.
I don't feel like they would have, man. And the reason why I say that is because
PlayStation.
No, PlayStation does decide that, but I think when it comes to that like when you look at like the type of stuff that they put into that remaster, like it's not, you can still play the game through backwards compatibility. Right? Yeah, of course. This new version this is a remaster, and I think with some people they can't see past the fact that it is an actual remaster, and that there's more shit that's being put into the game, more things being done, right? More enemies, fixing up the textures, fixing up a lot of the enemies, more pedestrians, more cars, more suits and all this different stuff. I think that part of it is why it costs $20, because it's an actual remaster.
Yeah, I'll say this about that, right? And I'm pretty sure, even though I still really want to see comparisons, I'm almost certain that it's going to be worth the $20 asking price, right? That's not my issue. but optically, once again, your perception is your reality, right?
Yes.
On one end, you got, and Insomniac's going to get blamed for this because they make it a game, even though it's not their fault. It's PlayStation. You're going to have to pay $20 for a game that you already own that came out less than 2 years ago or 2 years ago, right? Now, on the other hand, if you look at Microsoft, what are they always preaching? Free upgrades to the X, smart delivery, no additional cost, like, so optically, it just, even though
But smart delivery is really what this is. Not with the new remaster, but smart delivery in terms of you can play the game on your PlayStation 5. You can boot up Marvel Spider-Man on PlayStation 5. Right?
yeah, I know,
Like
yeah.
there's two different versions. This like when the game and this is why I can't wait for the console and everything to release because I think we will start seeing. I'm if PlayStation and the Summit, which they most likely won't. These publications, YouTubers, content creators, people are definitely going to be doing Spider-Man PS5 and Spider-Man PS4 comparisons. It's definitely going to happen, most definitely, and I think we are definitely going to be seeing some improvements because I don't think Insomniac, look at the work, and this is why I say the track record. Look at the track record with Insomniac and their games and their content. I have no reason to look at Insomniac and think that the work and what they're putting into this game is lies or bullshit. I really don't, because look at Marvel Spider-Man 2018. They put their heart and soul into that. Look at Miles Morales. They putting their heart and soul into that. I have no reason to think that this is going to look the way it is.
Now, I do agree with everything you're saying, but what I will say, I do think that we developed a version for the PS5 and then I think that is a crock of bullshit. If I'm being honest, I think because but this is the thing too, though, right? I don't know what all goes into developing a game. I don't know what they really mean by that. You know what I mean? But it just seemed like it would be more work than it's required because they both using the same x86 architecture. It would just be, to me personally, it would just seem would make more sense to develop one version of the game and then to scale it according to what it's running on. But the way they're trying to word it, they're trying to word it like this is just two different SKUs, and they really like. Of course, they're gonna put more attention. I feel they're gonna put more attention on the PS5 version, but I don't know the way they word and trying to make it look like they doing more than I guess I say what they actually are. But I don't want to downplay it neither though, because I do think it's gonna be a difference, and I do think they're gonna be two different. I just feel like they fluffing it up a little bit. I don't think it ain't that. You know what I mean? I think they fluffing it a little bit, man. I definitely do. I think they are.
I mean, it's hard to tell because we still, and I think that's the part of it. That's L, right? Is the fact that PlayStation is still very tight-lipped on some very important details when it comes to the PS5 and really some of the games and stuff like that too. There's certain things that they still are very tight-lipped, and I'm not sure why. Like even as happy as I am that we got the price, release dates, and stuff like that, I'm still like, why did it take this long? Were you really waiting on Xbox? I don't know. For me personally, I find it hard to believe that you were really waiting on Xbox.
And that's
I don't
another
know.
thing.
Like why?
They sat there and let Xbox get roasted for shit that they turned around and did themselves. Now I ain't gonna lie, the shit funny and the shit was smart at the end of the day, but damn, bro, like we was in this, bro. Me and you, we was in the whole cooking Xbox for some of this shit, bro. And then PlayStation turned around and did the same thing. Like, yo, I would have never in a minute, bro. If you would have tried to bet, I would have bet you everything I got. They gonna do what? Put that up, man. Get the fuck. And all that glorified DLC talk. I was really arguing with dudes about that shit, man. I'm looking at people I fuck with differently. I see my homie Tony Polanco tweet. I'm like, bro, look at this dude, bro. He really like dick. He like, bro, there's no way in fuck this is a glorified DLC. This can run on the PlayStation. What's wrong with him? He don't see the improvements. Then they say, hey guys, it can run on the PlayStation. I'm like, well, shit, my bad.
But that's the thing. Just because it can run on PlayStation, or there's a PlayStation 4 version being made, that doesn't mean that the game is still not a full-fledged game. The game people.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying it's glorified, but what I'm saying is the moves they're making is. But think about it like this, Persona. You can see where I'm coming from. The moves they're making makes Xbox fans look smart. It should never be that way, bro. Xbox fans are looking like they're right in these arguments or debates we be having on Twitter. Xbox fans look like, with everything that's been happening in the past 2 or 3 months, Xbox fans look like the smart guys in this situation. It should never be like that, bro. Like, come on, dog.
I
This is
mean,
crazy.
I'll never give an Xbox fan a compliment. They dumb as fuck. But you know, that it definitely, Xbox fan will never get a compliment from me, like never in my life. But I will say that PlayStation and them speaking that whole generation stuff, it definitely does make Xbox. It makes Xbox look like they were right, and it makes Xbox look like what they were doing was a quote unquote pro consumer. You know that word likes to get thrown out here a lot, and it makes PlayStation. If anything, it makes PlayStation look. It makes them look. I don't want to say anti-consumer because realistically speaking, people wanted this anyway. Like, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. People were mad at the fact that this was happening and this is why I say a lot of people don't keep the same energy, bruh. Because yeah, it's a L for PlayStation in terms of them faking the funk, but it's a W for people that wanted this from the beginning.
Or claim they want it.
Claimed, exactly. Claimed they want it. This is what you wanted. So you getting it. So you can play Spider-Man, you can play Sackboy, 2 games that will be releasing at launch. You can play it on PS4, and you can play Horizon. My issue is this, where the L comes in for PlayStation is that now it ensues doubt. It ensues doubt on on a lot of the games that PlayStation will be creating, because now it's going to be, well, God of War, is that going to be on PlayStation 4? Is this going to be on it? Like, that's where that issue is now for PlayStation, because now they have to really let people know, look, nah, this is on PlayStation 5. Are you sure? You're not going to change your mind later, right? That's where PlayStation's hurdle is now. And that's not good. Yep. That's the part of it that's not good. Because it's like, oh, well, God of War, I'm excited for God of War, and it's getting played on PS5, but can this be played on PS4? Come 2021, when more people go out to buy PlayStations, should I buy a PlayStation 5? Can I? Like, that's the issue. That is the issue, and that's why I'm so disappointed in PlayStation in the messaging. Because if you would have been upfront about these 3 games, there wouldn't be an issue now. Because we know these games are going to be PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Demon Souls, XYZ, this game, that game. There wouldn't be any doubt, or not as much doubt as there is now. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yo, Big Cloud.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Every time they come, and when we criticize them for being so quiet, and then they eventually, speak out, when they speak out, it arises more questions than we had before they said it. It's like, damn, should they have even said it? Like,
yeah,
we have more questions about the PS5 now than we did before they did their last showcase. Is that fair to say too? Like, besides the release, I mean, we got good information, but like you said, it's always going to be that doubt now. Anytime we see a game, it's going to be a doubt. Is this really what it is? You know what I mean? And it should never be like that.
I mean, and let's take it back to just gaming for a second, Jack. Right, and I hate to sound dismissive like this, because if this is PlayStation, if this is Nintendo, whatever, I think at its core, the games is what we care about the most. Is it fair to say that? Oh no, Jack, you muted. I said when it comes to the games, I think the games is what we care about the most. Is it fair to say that?
Absolutely.
So when it comes to this is why I on one side I'm disappointed in this, and it's the drama with this, that, and the third. But then on the other side, I'm like, yo, I'm happy as fuck to play these games. Like,
yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to. My only thing is, like, I don't want what we're seeing from like the higher ups in the company. I don't want this to trickle over down into the. I'm getting another fucking call. God damn it. Hold on.
Uh-oh. While Jack does that, let me read these super chats real quick. Yo, shout out to Vedger. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. Vedger says, Jim Ryan fooled Microsoft out of releasing an Xbox Series X digital edition. Microsoft thought that Sony was about to leave this gen as an open market for Microsoft. This holiday, PlayStation 4 Pro at $299 will outsell Xbox Series S at $299. I'm actually going to agree with you, because Sackboy and Miles Morales, those being on PlayStation 4 will also, people will definitely buy those on the PS4. And I think that will move PlayStations, PS4s, and PS5s, realistically speaking. So I agree. Then, BitCloud19, thank you so much for the super chat. BitCloud says, where's the same energy for Dragon Quest Definitive Edition? Gotta pay full price again for a Switch port. Yo, shout out to BitCloud, because that is actually a really, really good point. That's a good point. In order to get the orchestra music and all that stuff in Dragon Quest Definitive Edition, you do got to rebuy the entire game. But that's why I'm saying and you got to rebuy the entire game in the same generation. Like, we're the same gen with this shit. Would you like to respond to that, Jack?
I mean, but we already, man, look. Hey, listen, these companies know what they can get away with. I'm gonna say that they know what we going for, bro. Like, I'm ready, like the way shit been going, bro. You know, I was against control. I'm like, damn, should I just read my control on the PS5? Like, fuck it, you know what I mean? So these companies, they got us where they want us, bro, and they gonna utilize some shit.
It's business. Yeah, it's definitely business, you know. Dragon Quest is very popular. I do have the PlayStation 4 version, and I played it. It's a really great game. I just think with something like that, I feel like that should have definitely been an update, like with the orchestra music and all that stuff. Yeah, definitely could have been an update.
Yeah, of course.
What were we just talking about before you got on the phone? I forgot. Okay. Question. So I got a question, Jack. Going into this next gen, right? What is this, Generation 9? Yeah. Going into Gen 9, how are you going to move as a gamer, man? Like, what's your plan? I'm curious.
Honestly, I'm gonna have to move as these companies are wanting me to, or I'm really trying to figure out, because y'all know I don't really fuck with the game and PC shit. I do have to get a new computer eventually, though, sometime soon. So
are you gonna build a PC?
No, absolutely.
He said the game a lot tougher to win.
We'll get a stronger jiggy top, so that's in the cards. This next computer I get will be able to run anything that's coming to the Xbox. I don't want to pay for Xbox Live, bro. Honestly, if Xbox Live was free, I would get an Xbox. I really think I would, because it would just be easier to stream certain games and shit if I wanted.
Yeah.
Of course.
So you don't see yourself ever buying an Xbox next gen?
I don't know. I don't see it right now. I really don't, because it's kind of I don't know, man. I used to be a double console owner, man, for a very long time. But after a while, I was just like, bro, I can get most of these games, on both. So it's like, fuck it. I don't really want to go back down that route. Definitely getting a PS5. I mean, it's PS5, and I'll play my Game Pass on PC until further notice. But I don't know, man. We're hearing other PlayStation shit coming to fucking PC, so we gonna see how that turn out.
I hate hearing about that stuff too, because it's like, if Horizon going, this is going, that is going, then it's like, listen, once shit go day and date, listen, man.
Exactly. What for you say having a fucking PlayStation at that point?
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
Exactly.
I think for me, it's gonna be a PlayStation and PC. That seems to be the definitive route to go. PlayStation, PC, Nintendo. I'm still excited. I think I asked this right, but are you still excited for the PlayStation 5? Like, has your excitement diminished in any capacity?
It actually did.
Really?
Yes, it did.
Oh man.
Because every time because I'm trying to temper my expectations, I guess I would say.
Okay.
But it never fails with PlayStation recently, man. Every time my hype gets at like a peak, it always comes crashing down hard, right?
Yeah. Even
going back, like I say, this is just traumatic to me. Going back to Outbreak Day last year, man. When they showed that State of Play Last of Us trailer, like, dick through the ceiling, my guy. Like, I had to call a repairman out this motherfucker. Like, I'm like, yeah, this game. I literally said there is nothing that can detour or derail this game right now. It's nothing on earth that can happen. And 2 days later, they announced the game ain't got no online. I'm like, huh? What the fuck? So ever since then, I just ain't been trusting shit, bro. I don't even trust my own family, goddamn. I don't trust myself after that shit, okay? I don't know what. every time I get hyped for PS5, bro, they pull some fuck shit. I'm like that Miles Morales option. I'm like, yo, this shit is heat. Then I see a tweet that said you can buy it on PlayStation 4. I'm like, huh, why is it? So I'm like, I don't know, bro. But yes, my hype has diminished, even though I am still. Don't get it twisted. I'm still hyped. I'm still getting a lot of these games day one. I want to see what this shit hitting for. I bought a fucking new TV to play this shit. You know what I mean? $1,200 TV. Like, come on, man.
Jesus.
And
Well,
it got. So I'm like,
it got 2.1 HDMI and all that shit.
No.
Ah, shit.
I thought it could get updated. That's why I bought it. I'm like, I thought it could get. It can't even get fucking updated.
But take that shit back.
I had to all. Like, goddamn. And then they came out with a TV better than mine. It's cheaper. Like, so, that's what I'm saying, bro. Sony really been on my shit list for a minute, bro. They came out with a TV better than mine at a cheap. It's $200 cheaper, bro.
Oh man.
Like they doing me dirty. Persona, what's going on?
Yeah, nah, that's no good, man. They treating the PlayStation Nation bad out here, bro. I mean, I think for me, I don't know, man. I'm still very excited for PlayStation 5, man. Like, I'm excited, man. I cannot wait to play, a lot of the games that's to come out on PlayStation 5. I'm looking at what it is. I'm looking at next gen with new eyes, right? I'm not just looking at it as it's enough for every, PlayStation is going to continue to be on top because clearly, PlayStation is definitely going to be very successful and they're definitely going to sell consoles. But I think Microsoft and even Nintendo, I think, PlayStation definitely needs to readjust and look at both of these companies as, all right, these two companies are, they're out for blood. Like, they really are out here trying to compete. So, PlayStation hasn't been complacent this generation, but within the past couple of weeks, people have presumed that they are complacent. And I'm like, look at the games. Look at what they got coming. Going into next gen, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't buy a PS5. I'm going to say I wouldn't be called dad with a PS. with an Xbox. With an Xbox. I wouldn't be called dad with an Xbox. But I do think PlayStation 5 PC might be the waves. Honestly, like that just might be the wave. And people are just going to have to accept that Microsoft is gobbling up some of these studios.
Hey, for Persona, this is my biggest fear though, right? And I tweeted about this. You know how we look at the launch games and all that? Who else? Do this sound familiar? Man, in 2014, we had all the launch games. Why didn't people fuck with us? In 2014, launch games, Xbox fans just stopped talking about 2014 last week, bro. I can't make this shit up, people. They've been talking about Rise, Son of Rome, and Sunset Overdrive, and we had all the... I don't want that to be us in fucking 5 to 6 years, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had the launch games on PS5 and Halo, and God of War and Horizon.
Well, and this is why I'm saying, because I'm thinking as of right now, I'm thinking in the moment, because right now we have to get to next gen. That's why I'm so fixated on that, because we still are in current gen. Once we get to Generation 9, we got the launch games November 12th. Everybody opening up their PlayStations. Ooh, it's so great, setting them up. That's when the gen starts. And for me, that's when I'm like, okay, PlayStation, launch games are out. We're going into next gen. We still got Ratchet and Clank for Horizon and God of War next year. We need to see what the plan is for the next 5, right? I'm expecting 2021 to be the year where we're still going to be getting some really great games, but I'm expecting to see PlayStation provide us with more information on what we can expect from them in their 3 to 5 year plan, right? Acquisitions, things like that. Buying studios, securing third-party deals and things of that nature, which they said they are going to be doing, right? And I think that's why I'm also not too worried at the moment, because PlayStation said that they are going to be acquiring more studios, and they have a lot of third-party deals in the tuck, right? We just seen, Final Fantasy, which is a megaton, and PlayStation and Square are, they're really close with each other. What's the rumor?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's been rumored for years, but they saying that MGS1 remake is definitely real and it's definitely gonna be a PS5 exclusive.
We'll
That's what
see.
was.
People
Yeah.
talking about
So
they want to buy Konami. I'm like, I'm good. Let them buy Capcom or
oh,
Square, man.
I need a new Dance Dance Revolution, dog. I mean, I'm cool on the LG, but I fuck with the DDR, dog. We need a new one for Sony. The streets need that. All right,
I respect that. I respect the Dance Dance, but I would prefer Square or Capcom as a pickup.
I would prefer out of them two. I would have to go Capcom. Yeah.
Yeah, like those are some good pickups. So that's why I'm like, once we get to next gen, 2021, that's when I'm really looking at, the gen is really like, all right, now we in the thick of it. What are you PlayStation going to do? Because you need to do something. Straight up, you need to do something. Um, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it with that, man. Um, anything else you want to say, man?
Um,
About this whole situation with everything that's been going on lately.
what I'll say is currently, like, let's not get it twisted. I think a lot of people don't. People infer shit. People, this was crazy. People infer shit about what I'm inferred, and then they get mad at me, but they not even understand what the fuck I'm saying. Right? PlayStation is still currently, right now, in the present, they're still in a good spot. Right? They're in a
Yeah.
great spot. Right?
Yeah.
But what I never really been one. I always been one of the people that live in the moment. Right? I might die the fucking tomorrow, but my thing is going forward. I don't know if they really. You got to remember, the PS2 was the fucking bee's knees when it was out and all that, and. But when that PS3 hit, you see how shit went left. You know what I mean? Sony damn near went out of business if we keep it a buck, right? They didn't damn near have a buck back then. So like, I don't want. And history does tend to repeat itself, people. So just because shit good in the current present, in the meantime, in between time, don't mean shit can't go left. As we can see, how narratives have changed within the past 2-3 weeks.
Shit, the past week.
That's what I'm saying. So shit, this shit is like ebbs and flows. You got to be careful with this shit. I just want them to tread lightly, man. I want them to do the right by. Well, first of all, I want them to do right by us. You know what I mean? The real PlayStation man has been holding this shit down for decades. You know what I mean? I had every fucking PlayStation except for fucking PSP. You know what I mean?
Same.
So
I had all of it, man.
that's what I'm saying. I just want them to do right by us, man. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I think for some, they can't imagine PlayStation being number two, and honestly, I can't imagine them being number two either. They're doing everything right. That's the crazy thing, man. And we have to look at the track record. This generation. Go look at the history. This gen PlayStation they pulled out all the stops, right? It's funny because PS1, PS2 was good. PS3 was kind of off in the beginning. And then they kind of picked up towards the middle and the end. And then PS4 has just been a slam dunk from beginning to end. I think PS5, there's going to be some adjusting. PlayStation is definitely going. There's going to be a small window of adjust period, because I do think PlayStation is looking at this Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, and what's the other one? Isn't there another?
They was gonna do Starfield.
Starfield, Quantum Era. That shit got confirmed that it was going to be on Xbox. Okay. I think there's certain things that PlayStation is looking at this and they're like they got egg on their face. They feel stupid. I do think they feel stupid in the moment right now. So I think going into next gen, you're going to see an adjustment to how these third-party deals are done, and you're definitely going to see I think we will see some aggressive acquisitions. I definitely do. Because they look stupid. Like, there's no other way to say it. They look stupid out here right now with putting that much money towards these games and those games. So they pretty much paid Microsoft.
Pretty much.
Looks
this
stupid.
This ain't the first time they got bit. Like, look at Hellblade. Like, they've been getting bit by this type of shit for a couple of years now.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, man. At the end of the day, from two real PlayStation fans, I think we can acknowledge that PlayStation fucked up, but we still fans. We still can't wait for the PlayStation. But yeah, man, let's get into the outros, man. Jack, give us your outro, brother.
Shit, man. I appreciate y'all for watching, tuning in, man. As always, I think people think I'd be like, I guess, freaking out or whatever. I just really like having gaming debates. You know what I mean? I like debating about shit I like. So
yeah,
this is a healthy conversation. You know what I mean? I think people. I don't know what. I just don't know why people get so offended by people sharing their opinions on social media, which is meant to share your opinion.
They get mad when you share your opinions for real too, man. Because you be having.
You know what's crazy too, Persona? Like, if you ever look at, when people like tweet out like, "Oh, here are all the Xbox, here are all the PlayStation." My picture's never on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even. People claim not to respect me. I really don't think they do, but people claim not to give a fuck what I say. But any thought I have, I get to the term Russell Jimmy's. I don't know what the fuck, bro. People be so fucking in tune with what I say and like hanging on every word, but they claim not to give a fuck about nothing I say. Right? It's weird, bro. Like, why do you care if I'm upset about something? You know what I mean? Or
I think they care. I think they care about what you say. They care about your opinion and what you say. Because if they didn't, why are you following me? Why are you commenting on my shit? You care.
Thank you.
You care.
Dudes be caught up, bro. Like I guess I appreciate it at the end of the day because you're a fan at the end of the day. I guess I don't know, but shout out to y'all, man.
Yo, listen, you be spitting some real shit, man. I respect it, man. Even the shit that I don't agree with, I respect it because you keep it real.
Let me get my slander. I gotta get my PlayStation. Like, listen, I fuck with PlayStation, so I feel the need to slander them every once in a while. I mean, I gotta keep them sharp. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Gotta get on their ass a little bit.
Big facts. But yeah, man. Shout out to Jack, man. Appreciate him coming through, man. Make sure you guys check out JackMoveJohnny, man. His YouTube channel, his Twitch. Also, he'll be on Weapon Wheel every Saturday morning. Every Sunday at 6. Sunday at 6:30, and Press Start Podcast every Thursday at 8:30. Definitely check him out. Also, I got my shirt. My shirt came in today too, man. My Jiggy shirt. I'm gonna take a picture.
I need a picture.
Yeah, I'll take a picture and post it up after this.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So yeah, definitely happy to. I'm waiting on my mask because I was like, yo, he got Jiggy mask. I went back and bought a Jiggy mask. I'm like, yo, I can walk around with the Jiggy mask on. Yeah, day one. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely take a picture and I'll post that up. For me, man, I'm Persona, gaming with Persona. Appreciate everybody here, man. Like the max we had is like 220 people here. Shout out to y'all. I really appreciate y'all coming through, man. If you enjoy the content on the channel, definitely consider subscribing to the channel. Like the video, share it out, all that great stuff, man. It's appreciated, man. I appreciate the support. And, man, listen, the next gen is upon us. We'll see what happens, man. I love competition. This whole Xbox stuff, I love it because I love competition like this, man, because it breeds so much success. And it just breeds more competition. I'm very competitive, so I can't wait to see what PlayStation does. I can't wait to see what Nintendo does. Like, it's going to be great. True, not a damn thing. But yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all. Please be safe, and I will see you guys next time. And we